When you're working with your child with microcephaly and cerebral palsy, there are certain things you have to realize. First of all is the microcephaly itself. It's going to change the alignment that your child is in, and that's going to cause a lot of the deviations. Also, too, depending if it's microcephaly and plagiocephaly, meaning that there's flat spots or abnormalities in the rotation of the head, that's also going to come into play. You have to act like the head is okay. This is one of the reasons why, starting off with the basics, what we do here, you need to work with the head that is as if it was okay, but also in the correct proportions. I'll explain that. I've done lots of coverage on microcephaly, and you can go over to the search engines, and then I cover this a lot in my cranial courses. But the microcephaly alone is out of proportion. Also, too, if your child's been intubated, that also threw off the dynamics of the positioning of the head. And so all the movements are done off-kiltered. So you really aren't getting the milestones yet. And so from the beginning, I really want you to start with the breathing course because of respiratory challenges just based off of what the brain is working on and the body. I know your child breathes fine. We got to change those spinal movements. When you have microcephaly and the way that the head is aligning back, changes the way that the chest functions, and this will help you get a much better touch because you're going to have to work with your child. You really are. You have abnormalities in development, and so these need to take into play. You cannot let the abnormalities take over your child's movements, right? And so one of the things you're looking at with microcephaly, right now, first of all, with your baby should be in proportion. Let me try and move this down just a little bit more. So your baby should be in proportion. Proportions mean the eyes are over the ears, right? So when they go and play with something, they can see it. With microcephaly, now I can't cut the back of my doll's head off, but what you're going to see is more here. So you see how, first of all, the eyes go above the ears. I'm going to tell you right now, if you go and lay down like this, yeah, I don't care if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger, you cannot sit up. If all of you laid down right now and just tilted your eyes behind the ears, you cannot sit up like this. You'll say, if you say I can do it, that's because your eyes went forward, right? But when they're back here, but second of all, I can't see what I'm playing with, right? So just that alone. So you want to take even just a small washcloth, if you can, and just bring your child's heads up. Right now, you want to start with, it's not in the Fast Start program. I would start with the head and the vision movement because you need to go in there and now start working with the head as if the head shape was okay. Right? So with microcephaly, if it's real severe microcephaly, you're going to have the divots within the eyebrow area. It could be just the head itself is just smaller, and that could be just genetics. It could be that all of you have small heads. That does happen. It could be, again, where there's changes in the back of the head. That's what comes in, too, if you're getting a flat spot here and you're much taller in the crown, right? Then again, when a child goes to look this way, they just can't. And so, because they're getting the crease of the head from the plagiocephaly. So you really want to work with your child as if everything here is straight, because to their world, this is what they're used to. And it doesn't seem like much. Guys, this is huge. We're not meant to. It will change the pelvic structuring this way, the head structuring this way, and that's where you're getting that arching, right? But you're getting the arching, and I hate to be rude, I don't mean to sound it like that, but if you ever looked at the 18-wheeler going down the highway with nothing on it, they're not flat, right? They have a bit of a curve to them. So when you're putting the load on it, that's what brings them out. But when you have the small head, everything now counter responds. So the head tilts back, you're going to get the pelvis tilting back. Now, this is where, again, some therapists are going to say, oh, but then that's where cerebral palsy. The cerebral palsy is coming into play with any kind of abnormality in the cranium, right? That's where that comment is. But the back arching is really because of the small head. If I held my baby like this with the small head, technically I would get this. Now, this is where you're going to start bringing this down and the head up. By the way, hi, Nikki, what up? And that's where you're looking at. And again, this is the water bowl technique that I teach, and that crossing midline, because that's another big impairment with microcephaly, is your child, because he's back here, it deviates all the midline setups from the chest, the shoulders, backs, all of that. Again, just by lack of experience due to structure, not that the abnormalities in movement come more from the change in the structure, having the microcephaly, than the cognitive impairment. They're going to blame it on the cognitive impairment, but physically, he's just not set up to do the movements. And so you really want to show that spinal sway, and this is where you'll start off in the tummy time course, and I want you to go through everything and start working up. Your child will not be able to experience the movements that he's meant to experience due to the microcephaly. This is where, again, parental input, you can do it. I did it. You can do it. Nikki's done it. I'm not saying we're super women. We did it out of necessity, period, the end. The courses are there. I need you to do them. If you think that 1 hour of physio a week is going to be your ticket, I bet you $5 is not even set up right now, because also too, you've got to watch your language. When you're saying rolling over and they're doing this, I want to congratulate you, but at the same time too, they hear your child's progressing, and you don't have that. You should have independent sitting by now, grabbing the feet, coming to sitting. And I'm not trying to upset you here. I'm trying to I mean, I really wished, and Nikki too. Nikki and I are perfect examples of this, right? I've worked with Nikki in South Africa, so I know her, and she's watching. That's why I keep mentioning Nikki. You're not going to see that when you watch the live. Both of us, as parents, wish someone would have said, this is what's about to happen, right? Okay, so I'm laying this out for you. I don't mean to sound rude. I don't mean to sound like a bully. This is what needs to be done, right? This is why it's happening. You have the microcephaly. It is not going away. Right? And so you want to start now. You're not waiting to see if this is going to happen. They are, okay, but that's no longer your plan, right? And again, you know, Nikki's daughter was in the hospital for 79 days, you know, and they said, oh, we should be watching for it, you know, and it was actually her husband who said, can you please tell my wife it's not this? And he's like, what do you think it was? So again, their level of communication, and you need your medical staff. When you have microcephaly, please, you want ear, nose, and throat. You want to check with everything, your cardiologist. And you might say, there's nothing wrong with that. You have a neuromuscular issue going on and a deviation of that, and you need to start making sure that everything is okay. With microcephaly, you are going to have a small nasal passage and all of that, and that's important for your child's well-being, and those will come into play. Now, you might never have a problem, and that's great. Right? But if you do, you have the doctor already on your team. And that's why you start making these appointments. Right now, your main specialist should be neurology and probably pulmonology. But you want to start making sure you're ticking off the boxes that everything's okay. And also ophthalmology, because with microcephaly, you want to make sure the eye orbits are in the right alignment and everything's going okay there. So that's your medical dance card, but your movement dance card. And I would like a follow-up within 2 weeks to make sure that you got the programs in hand and you're starting them out and everything's being successful for you. Thanks. See you next. We have to catch up. We talked about talking, so we need to catch up and see what's great. It's a great time because I know the surgery was done, and go from there. Thanks.